The reflection today is on forgiveness and atonement. Forgiveness is the gift of the one aggrieved or the victimized, but atonement comes only from God. In Christian theology, the Christ's death on the cross was atonement and reconciliation for all of our sins, reconciling us with God for all the sins that had occurred. Each of our future sins require that the sinner have a sincere and contrite heart, state a sincere, remorseful act of contrition, and make an honest confession to God or to a priest, with expiation given for the sin to be forgiven by God. But with sins we commit against ourselves, those things we do that violate our own code, that we may not need to confess to God. In other words, we didn't sin against God, but only against ourselves. We then need to find forgiveness from ourselves, atonement from God still, but also from ourselves. We are hardest and least forgiving to ourselves, not because we violate our own code the most, but because it is the safest to beat the snot out of our own psyche than to ever stand up to someone else when she or he fails you. You can be unforgiving and beastly to yourself, doing lifelong damage, rather than ever once standing up for yourself. Oddly, uniquely, we who were born into the late baby boomers appear highly skilled at self-flagellation, beating up on ourselves, but have few, if any, self-aggrandizing skills, except those who are sociopaths. This self-flagellation, self-blame, and excessive shaming of self for things that aren't yours, stuff that other people have done that have blamed on you, stuff that isn't remotely yours, or stuff that may be tangentially related to you, but it is a family issue, not yours in any way. These things that you blame on yourself entirely, they are the root of addiction patterns, the root of mood disorders, and were generated in your very early childhood years by what you heard your parents saying to one another. Oddly, my parents separated on my 5th birthday. Prior to that, DJ, my biological father, was often on the campaign trail, working for the vice president. I have no conscious or subconscious memories of him ever living with us. I've gone under hypnosis more than a dozen times as they search for the memories. And this is even before the disease hit my brain. There are no memories of my father living with us. So my memories of these conversations are my 2 brothers, my twin brother and my older brother. The older brother telling the younger, my twin, how he's unworthy, how he's a worthless piece of yada, and so on and so on. What you heard your parents saying to each other, and then you internalized these in over the 4, 5, and 6 decades. You made them tapes. Your internal tapes played them over and over. Each of these failures to act is like your top 40. But you mimic the conversations of your parents arguing, or in my case, my brothers arguing. Whenever you feel good, you grab a failure tape so you can never feel too good. This is stupid, girl. Oh, look at how stupid you are. How can you be so stupid? I'll bet you can't do anything right. Ah, stupid, 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 stupid. And I hear myself saying this when I do little things. When I do big, stupid things, there's just silence. And that's even worse. Because silence is more shaming than stupid, girl. But these repeated self-put-downs, this constant voice in your head, with your own voice standing in as abuser, this is the stuff of Clinical Depression 101 with a chaser of suicidal ideation. Forgive yourself for those things that are truly yours and dump the rest. Allow yourself to be human. God forgives and loves you, though it feels so uncomfortable and unworthy to read it, much less believe it. It is true. He loves you. He loves you unconditionally. And He hates to hear you say these things about this person whom He loves so dearly. If He could come down and take those words out of your head, He would. He would definitely take them out of your mouth, because you say them aloud to yourselves. You don't just say them in your head. Now read today's gospel for the next week and realize the gift God gave you, His only Son. Each day, write down one thing of old that you've forgiven yourself today on a small piece of paper, like a post-it note, and then burn it in the sink, or rip it up into wee little bits and flush it. At the end of the week, think of all that you've earned and all that you've given up. Think of all the weight that you've lost and given up that forgiving. And then do something great for yourself. Have a fabulous meal cooked by someone else. Have a night out with someone you know who appreciates you. Have a day at the spa, a baseball game, or even a day off from any responsibility. Do something for you that you want to do, that you love to do. Don't do it because somebody else wants to do it. Do it because you want to do it. And know that you're not alone. The seat next to you is occupied by the Christ, because He loves baseball too. You wouldn't believe how many of the religious go to baseball games. There's more praying that goes on at baseball than any other sport. Ha, you wouldn't believe it. We are all healing together with the Lord and with His help. You are the aggrieved. You are the victim. Give yourself the gift of forgiveness. Love yourself again, so that when we enter into Advent, you will be born anew.